My name is Amata, and in this Red Gaming Tech video I'm here with yet another update to Star Wars Battlefront 2. I actually thought I was safe doing a video on it the other day. I thought, oh, there's not going to be any real information coming up, everything's going to kind of settle down. I'm safe to do like an update video. Nope. EA, as we all know, has made the very surprising decision to temporarily, and I do mean temporarily, I cannot stress that enough, to remove the microtransactions from the game. Now, funnily enough, this was actually done just in time for the actual launch, because all of the reports and controversy and everything else that we've had surrounding the game, that's just been from the early access week for EA Access users. So when the game was actually released into the public, Joe whoever is going to walk into your local game shop and buy it, they have temporarily removed the microtransactions. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is bad, I'm just stressing that they will be back. They make that very clear. They say, quote, "We hear you loud and clear, so we're turning off all in-game purchases. We'll now spend more time listening, adjusting, balancing and tuning. This means that the option to purchase crystals in the game is now offline. All progression will now be earned through gameplay. The ability to purchase crystals in-game will become available at a later date, only after we've made changes to the game." However, I'm not really here to talk about this whole microtransaction thing, because this happened a couple of days ago now. It's kind of old news that they removed them. But obviously everyone's been talking about why. And I think this is definitely worth discussing. Now, I definitely think the gaming community does deserve a fair share of the credit pie for this. We kicked up such a big stink, and deservedly so, that it was actually picked up by, people like CNN and stuff like that. The controversy and the backlash surrounding this has been massive, and rightfully so, because this is one of the most predatory microtransaction systems I've ever seen outside of a mobile game, to be honest with you. So, all of that was well deserved, and the PR disaster was just growing and growing and growing, kind of feeding on itself a little bit. But an interesting report from the Wall Street Journal reporter Ben Fritz has surfaced, and they basically say that a Disney executive contacted EA over the PR disaster surrounding Battlefront 2. So, there was an article posted by the WSJ, as I just said, in which the head of Consumer Products and Interactive Media for Disney, Jimmy Pitaro, sent a letter to EA outlining Disney and the Chief Executive Officer Bob Iger's concerns with how EA had been handling the game, and of course the very, very negative public perception of the game. So I definitely think that the huge outcry has a big part to play, but I think it has a big part to play because you don't mess with the mouse. Disney went, we don't want this negativity, guys. We're supposed to be getting hype and positivity and good stuff happening around this game that's also releasing, a month before the next Star Wars film. We can't be having like this stink following the Star Wars film, for instance. Disney is extremely protective of its properties. So basically, I think like the furore got to the point where Disney was like, okay, we can't just sweep this under the rug. We can't just put the usual PR platitudes out there and expect this to go away. And yeah, I think it was pressure from Disney that got them to back down. I mean, before this, they were giving us boilerplate answers that weren't really answers. They dodged questions like a bloody pro in the Reddit AMA. They gave us that pride and accomplishment comment on Reddit, which is just bloody gold and read like it was written by a bloody automaton. So yeah, don't mess with the mouse, basically, is what this comes down to. However, we have a second item on our itinerary for Star Wars Battlefront 2 today. As, of course, there's been a lot of discussion on the impact this is actually going to have for EA. Because, they have not made this decision lightly. They are very aware that launch date is critical for them, and launch week is critical. Obviously, it depends how long it takes them to quote-unquote fix the game, to see how long it takes them to get these microtransactions back. But I think EA and DICE are very cognizant of the fact that they cannot mess this up again. If they mess it up again, people are going to jump on this, because we cannot let up the pressure. It's great that they've removed them temporarily. They should be gone forever, but, that's not going to happen because this is EA. So if they come back and they're just slightly less terrible, we should just not stop until basically. Because that is the only way EA or any company that tries this crap is going to listen. So, we now have an interesting statement from EA itself in an SEC filing, where they basically said that the change to the microtransactions is not expected to have any material impact on the fiscal year for 2018. However, there was another statement from Justin Post, who is an analyst and managing director at Merrill Lynch, who said, quote, "The escalation of EA concessions over the past month are a potential negative indicator of pre-order sales trends and overall unit confidence. Star Wars Battlefront 2's bumpy launch week creates incremental risk to early unit sales, initial reviews also underwhelming. We think unit sales could come in below EA's earlier financial year 18 outlook for around 14 million units." So basically EA are trying to reassure investors, who are clearly the people they actually care about. They don't clearly give a toss about consumers, or they want to try to pull this crap in the first place. They're trying to reassure those investors that, don't worry guys, this won't hurt our bottom line. And this probably is because, the microtransactions are going to be coming back. But whether or not that ends up being true, I don't know. But to be honest, they deserve to have it impact their bottom line, because, I hope people boycott this game because it deserves to be boycotted. EA in general, to be honest, I would say that you should just boycott them in general. Because, well, it's EA. Do I really need to explain myself? The fact that they tried to pull this crap has revealed their true nature to you and how they actually view consumers, or don't view them, to be more accurate. So, I think it will have an impact because there has been quite a lot of talk of boycotts, not only Battlefront 2, but of EA, just as a company, that sort of thing. And the fact that they've been removed temporarily is great, but very many people are aware of the fact that they are going to be back, and they're not falling for it, and they absolutely shouldn't. If you want to play this game, do what you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm simply saying that we should not let up the pressure on EA, because they will be back, probably in a couple of weeks' time at most, because they are very, very aware of how critical the launch period is, and they are very much aware of how much money they're leaving on the table. So let's just keep a close eye on what they're doing. And obviously we'll have to wait and see how much of an impact this actually has on their financial year 18 outlook. It might not have an impact, it might have a big impact, it might have a little bit. We're going to have to wait and see. But there is another update for Star Wars Battlefront 2. This will probably be the last of it until the microtransactions come back. Because, things are going to kind of settle down now while DICE try to scramble something that isn't going to incur the wrath of Disney. Because that is obviously who they're really worried about now. Because Disney could just take the license away and be like, do you know what, we can't trust you with this. And I don't really blame them. Battlefront 1 was a massive disappointment, very, lacking in content. And Battlefront 2, well, I don't need to go into that because, well, yeah. So, we'll have to see. But yeah, pro tip, guys, don't mess with Disney. Not good. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.